Hey, so now we're going to look at the next little chunk that's needed. So we had a look at the latch last time, how we use that. That's going to be important later. Next thing we're going to look at is how to build a 2-bit randomizer. And I'm going to show you how to make a 2-bit randomizer just to show you how you can extend it for other projects. But actually for the whole crazy secret door thing, we're only going to need a 1-bit randomizer. Just for the example I've done, but you will, if you want to extend the project or use it for other things, you're probably going to want something a bit more fancy. So we're going to show you how this works. So if I click this button here, it'll activate it. We'll get, right one goes on, right one goes on again, both go on, nothing happens, right one goes on, nothing happens, right one goes on, nothing happens, nothing happens. Left one goes on, nothing happens, left one goes on again. Right one goes on. It's completely random, or as random as it needs to be. So what we're going to need for this project is 7 building blocks of some description. I've used lapis lazuli just for the sake of it. Looks nice. We're going to need 2 droppers, not dispensers. Droppers. We need 1 button. 2 comparators, not redstone repeaters. We need comparators. 2 hoppers, and I've used 4 redstone lamps here just to show you. So I'm going to show you how to build this. You also need 2 lots of 2 non-stackable items, and 2 stackable items. So I've used 1 piece of stone and 1 wooden sword, and then another piece of stone and a wooden sword, just as a cheap example. So we're going to show you how to build this now. So what we need is 2 pieces of stone. We need a few bits of redstone. Let's just get a bunch of that. We need a button. We need 2 droppers, and we need 2 hoppers, and we need 2 comparators, and a bunch of redstone lamps. And then this stuff we can get rid of. We also need 2 non-stackable items. I'll put that in my inventory. Oh look, there's a lot of stuff in there. So we're going to go in there, and then we also need, so we've got our bits of stone, so we've got our non-stackable items. Our stackable items, and then we're going to have some building blocks. I'm going to use, let's use some redstone this time, that'd be cool. Ooh, emerald, well, let's use that. Okay, so we got that stuff there. Right, awesome. So what we're going to do first is place 7 building blocks like so. So you have 1 there, and then 3 off each corner. Then we're going to put 2 redstone lamps here, like that. Then we're going to put droppers, and we're going to make sure they face upwards like this, so that the output of the dropper is pointing into the sky. And then what we're going to do, actually we're going to delete those, that's really stupid of me. What we want to do first is put the hoppers on the top. The problem with hoppers sometimes is that depending on how you place them, the bottoms can point in all sorts of crazy directions. Make sure you get them to point down by putting a piece of stone and then building the hopper on top of it. Delete those, just have a little fly around, make sure you're at a decent angle like that, and then, it's not going to work, oh dear. So let's try that again. There we go, and a dropper, there we go. So the dropper's pointing upwards, you can just see the input, you can see it right there, it's pointing into the hopper, and then same again, there we go, oh, worked lovely that time. And it's going to point into the hopper. Now, what we want to do now is take a button, whack it in the middle of that particular building block, and then shove in a bit of redstone there. And then, we don't want any there actually. And then we want a comparator on there. So, just check that we've done it right. Yeah, so the comparator, you see the arrow pointing that way, pointing this direction. We want the arrows pointing towards the redstone lamps, which we've done there. Okay? And we don't want to have the little control pin on, we want those off, okay? Now the next thing to do is to fill the dropper with 1 non-stackable and 1 stackable item. Doesn't matter where you put them, it's completely random. Then we put a stackable item and a non-stackable item in the dropper. Now how this works is a random item from the dropper, when we activate it with this button, gets thrown into the hopper and then back out again. Now how this works, and the reason we get what we want out of this, is the comparator when put next to a hopper gives an output that's roughly proportional to how full the hopper is. Now, if we throw a stackable item in there, it's really not that full, so we only get one like block of redstone power. So it just kind of goes poof up to here, and nothing happens. It doesn't reach far enough to get over here. Now, if we get a non-stackable item thrown into there, a non-stackable item takes up an entire stack of space in the hopper. So the comparator thinks it's quite full. So if we have one full stack inside this hopper, the comparator actually gives an output of 3, which is enough to get over to this redstone lamp. So depending on which thing in the dropper it throws into the hopper, we get either an output of 1 or an output of 3. So depending on which one we get an output of nothing or 1. Now, because the dropper throws a random item every time we activate it with this button, we don't know what we're going to get. It is completely random. And all we've done here is just activate 2 at the same time to give us a 2-bit number instead of a 1-bit number. So if we hit that, we got 1 on the right hand side. And you see both of those comparators lit up. All that happened was this one obviously had this piece of stone thrown into it, and it only gave an output of 1. This one obviously had the sword thrown into it, which had an output of 3. So press that again. You can see both of them come on. That time it was obviously both the stone. That time it was the sword on the right. That time it was both the sword. So it is completely random, and it is really fun for doing all sorts of kind of crazy stuff. So yeah, that is how you build a 2-bit randomizer, which is going to be really useful later on. Cool, until next time.